if I told you the people running this country, the ones making the laws, the ones giving the speeches and smiling for the cameras aren't working for you? What if I told you their loyalty is bought and paid for by billionaires, special interests, and backroom deals? Today we're breaking down the growing mountain of corruption coming from Biden's administration, the Biden crime family, the hollow shell that is Gavin Newsom, and the billion-dollar homeless scam that's draining California dry. This isn't left. This isn't right. This is truth versus power. So if you're tired of being lied to, if you're tired of being manipulated, if you're tired of being gaslit, stay locked in. I'm Wolf Kage, and this is Wolf Kage Los Angeles. Let's go. First up, we have breaking news out of Washington, D.C. House Republicans are reportedly preparing to issue a wave of subpoenas targeting officials in the Biden administration. And it doesn't stop there. Sources say the subpoenas could extend to members of the Biden family. Now, here's the bombshell. It's all tied to what some are already calling the cover-up of the century. At the center of this storm, questions surrounding former President Joe Biden's declining health. Questions that have been growing louder and louder by the week. Ask yourself, how long have we seen the signs, the pauses, the confusion, the missteps, and yet silence from the stop? If these subpoenas land, we could be looking at a political earthquake. One that digs into whether there's been a deliberate attempt to hide the true condition of a sitting president. Is this accountability finally catching up with the powerful? Or is it just political theater at its peak? Either way, the gloves are coming off, and this is just the beginning.
Capitol Hill, House Republicans are escalating their pursuit of answers about then-President Biden's health and an alleged cover-up by those close to him. Subpoenas are being prepared, and they could include the former president's family. Here's senior national correspondent Aisha Hasni.
Tonight, Republicans on the House Oversight Committee are readying subpoenas in case former President Biden's White House physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, and 4 key staffers don't agree to a request for congressional interviews by the Thursday deadline. The committee is investigating the Biden administration's use of the auto pen to sign pardons and executive orders, some still being challenged in court. Chairman James Comer tells Fox the committee could even call in former First Lady Jill Biden, the president's son Hunter, and former White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
If the trail leads us to the next step, which many believe would be perhaps Jill Biden and Hunter Biden, then we will go there.
And while several Biden insiders have stayed quiet amid cover-up allegations, they could too potentially be forced to talk under oath.
Let's be real. At this point, to ignore how corrupt the Biden crime family has been is to admit you've either been brainwashed or hitched your loyalty to a party no matter how far off the rails they go. We're not talking about petty politics. We're talking about actions that pose clear and present dangers to national security, the kind of dangers the Democrats love to accuse Trump of. But here's the irony. Trump hasn't done a fraction, not even 1% of what the Bidens have allegedly pulled off behind the curtain. And yet, where is the outrage? We're seeing a pattern of protection, a pattern of silence, and cover-up, aided and abetted by media giants that act more like defense attorneys than journalists. I'm just hoping Trump's DOJ lifts the lid off of all of it. No more selective justice. No more two-tiered system. Because we can't keep living in a country drowning in this level of deception. We just can't. What's even more alarming is how many people don't see it. And I get it. I do get it. When the media paints you a picture every single night, polished, rehearsed, emotional, you start to believe that it is reality. You're told that these are the good guys, compassionate, ethical, fighting for the little guy. But behind the screen, it's a different movie. And the ending ain't happy. Mainstream media isn't just failing the people. They're fueling the lie. They're the megaphone that keeps the illusion going. They manufacture heroes out of hustlers, saints out of sellouts. And the average citizen is left clapping for the same people robbing them blind. Okay, so now let's bring it home. Governor Gavin Newsom. Some folks like to call him clueless, but I disagree. Newsom is not dumb. Newsom is just paid. What you're really looking at is a polished puppet with a heavy wallet and zero accountability. A man protected by power who acts like he's above the pain his policies create. And yes, he's locked down the entire state, shut down small businesses, crushed lives, crippled communities. But did he lock himself down? No. He dined at the French Laundry. Why, you couldn't even visit your family. And guess what? No apology. Not a shred of remorse. Why? Because he doesn't operate from a conscience. He moves like a machine. He has no soul, just signals from his donors. Now, his reckless policies, they're now impossible to ignore. California's crime rate has exploded in major cities. Homelessness is so visible, so overwhelming that even liberal talk radio, yes, liberal radio, is finally raising its voice. Even those who once cheered him on are starting to ask, what happened to this place? He just gives a quick soundbite about crime or addiction and then moves on like it's someone else's mess. But this is his mess. And now the cracks are starting to show. The public is waking up, and not a moment too soon.
People like Newsom, they have a vegetable for a brain. I don't think Newsom cracks even 90 on the IQ scale. Because if you're an intelligent person, why would you close all our refineries, knowing we're going to use the same amount of oil here in California, and then take nearly 2/3 of our oil needs from foreign countries who have much worse environmental standards? You tell me why you would do that. You would only do that if you're an idiot. There's no reason for this. And unfortunately, most of the voters are ignorant of what's going on. And I'm just wondering, what's the price point to cause the revolt? I mean, you'd think $5 would be. We're paying almost twice as much as the states in the South. Almost twice as much. Normal people are being held hostage by fanatics. We are surrounded by fanatics. And the politics is indefensible. It's insane. And I'm waiting to see, what day is this all going to end? What day do we just stop the nonsense? It looks like a lot of the woke social issues that plagued us are coming to an end. So when is this this climate change nonsense going to come to an end? Because it's killing people. The amount of money they're spending on gas, the amount of money they're spending on electricity.
So let's cut through the noise. All this so-called climate urgency, all this woke theater, it's not about saving the planet or healing society. It's about control. And control always leads to money. Look at Gavin Newsom. He's not acting on conviction. He's following orders from a class of wealthy oligarchs pulling the strings behind the curtain. And in return, he's cashing in big time. The more irrational the policy, the richer he seems to get. Why? Because it's not supposed to make sense for you. It's designed to benefit them. Ordinary folks need to understand these people don't just not care about you. They are not even capable of caring. This is narcissism on a whole new level. And if you suffer along the way, that's not a bug in the system. That's the plan. We're being gaslit constantly. They'll lie to your face, twist your words, then smile for the cameras while signing laws that wreck your family and drain your bank account. And the end game is becoming more clear every day. Eliminate the middle class. Destroy economic independence. Leave nothing but a two-tiered system. The ultra-rich and their peasants. California lawmakers are marching in lockstep with this agenda. You ask why? Because that's where the money flows. That's where the power is. They talk equity, but they build castles for the elite. They preach compassion, but they leave people homeless and hopeless. And too many people are so distracted by the rhetoric, they can't see the reality staring them right in their faces. And let's turn the spotlight on one of the biggest shams running here in California. And it's not just here. It's in nearly every major Democrat-run city across America. Of course, I'm talking about the homelessness industrial complex. Billions of taxpayer dollars are funneled into nonprofits, agencies, and so-called solutions. But the problem, it keeps getting worse. Why? Because for the people at the top, solving homelessness is not profitable. But managing it, that's a cash cow. This is not about fixing the streets. It's about keeping the contracts flowing. Check this clip out.
Debbie and I were in California. I was giving a talk. One of the guys in the course of our discussion asked me, he's like, why do we have so many homeless all over California? California has created a homeless industry, a homeless management bureaucracy. The homeless stopped being homeless if you did the inexpensive thing, not the expensive thing, but the inexpensive thing, and put them into cheap but clean, affordable homes. The whole homeless industry would become pointless. And so the job of the homeless industry is to make sure that doesn't happen, that these people stay at least officially on the street. So that's why we have homelessness. When you subsidize something, this is an iron law of economics, you get more of it. And so when you subsidize homelessness, guess what? You get more homeless.
Mind you, this is billions of dollars later. Years of promises. This is the result.
And many other cities face this problem too, but you can't just like pick up people and take them to the desert and be like, good luck. You can't. No. I mean, what do? You
build housing. Build housing. I had a plan when I ran for mayor. You got to build housing. The city of Miami, I was with the mayor of Miami. They are going to be down to 0 homeless in Miami.
Wow.
I just walked around the city of Pittsburgh. I was back there for business last week. Not one encampment that I saw in downtown Pittsburgh. How could that be? And in Los Angeles, it's everywhere. We have had this terrible ideology of housing first. And that what they did is to attack people is if you want to get somebody off the street, they would say you're criminalizing being homeless. No, you're not. We want to help people get off the streets. We want to give them the services they need for mental health care, for drug addiction. But you've got to have an apartment for them. You've got to have a place for them. We have built no housing in the city of Los Angeles. We've been an absolute failure in that regard and wasted billions of dollars. So if you want to know how to screw it up, go study the way LA City and LA County has done it. If you want to know how to fix it, there are hundreds of cities around the world that have tackled this problem with great success.
You know, it's almost comical. Every time someone calls out California lawmakers on homelessness, they hit you with the same tired line. We need more housing. That line is not a solution. It's a stall tactic. It's a pacifier for the public. Something to throw at critics while doing the bare minimum. Here's the truth. If they really wanted to build housing, they could do it tomorrow. They could literally buy small, fully functional prefab homes on Amazon for under $30,000. It's not glamorous, but it would work. Add some plumbing, some hookups, and boom, shelter. So why do they spend $500,000 to $1 million per unit in California? Because they're not solving homelessness. They're profiting off of it. It's smoke and mirrors. The problem stays, so the money flows. And let's not forget, there are thousands of skilled workers right here in our communities who can help build homes for a fraction of the cost. There are construction crews, tradesmen, everyday people willing to volunteer because that's what community is supposed to be about, right? But the state doesn't want actual solutions, because if the problem disappears, so does billions in contracts, billions in grants, and kickbacks, of course. They'll throw a few overpriced units out there and call a press conference, pat themselves on the back. Meanwhile, the crisis worsens and the neighborhoods pay the price because, of course, it's not about compassion. It's all about cash. Now, look at what happens when real voices speak up. Rick Caruso, Dinesh D'Souza, people who've actually proposed serious solution to homelessness and urban decay. And what does the media do? They paint them as villains. They twist their words. They attack their character. Why? Because they're not a part of the money grab. And they're threatening the hustle. And like I always say, everyone is in on it. Politicians, consultants, media networks, NGOs. It's a big old machine fueled by taxpayer dollars and empty promises. And if you forget that, you're going to fall for their next act every time. But now let's shift to the bright side. And yes, there is one. Donald Trump is back in office. And had he lost, this runaway train of ideological insanity would be greenlit at full speed. We're talking about the destruction of California and America on purpose for personal gain. Kamala Harris, she's a key player in that destruction. Not because she's clueless, but because she's ambitious and she's willing to watch the country burn if it means that she will climb higher. But Trump, he's put under pressure on corrupt states like California, financially and ideologically. And whether or not you like him, that matters. Because California isn't just corrupt with dollars, it's corrupt in its values. They distract you with culture wars, emotional issues, and media spin, so you never see what's really happening behind the scenes. Let's talk about one of their favorite weapons, distraction. Hollywood distraction. Take this debate over men competing in women's sports. Legal or not, it's nonsense. Common sense tells you it would never hold up in the real world. Eventually, every woman would quit. The sport would die. End of story. But politicians like Newsom know that when people are emotional, they stop thinking clearly. So they throw out topics like this to stir the pot and keep you mentally busy. Meanwhile, they're passing laws, signing shady deals, and reshaping society right behind your back. That's why Trump stepping back into the picture matters, because he's shedding light on this ideological madness and forcing states to knock it off. Check this clip out.
Here's my perspective on everything happening right now in California, and it is happening fast. Over the last 24 hours, President Trump sent a scathing warning to California that Trump was about ready to pull a huge amount of federal funding if California couldn't figure out how to actually be appropriate with Title IX and apply Title IX as Title IX was intended, which was always to protect women. It was never to protect an ideology that is hell-bent against women. Title IX shouldn't exist if that was the point of it. So in the 24 hours following, now we're staring down a massive investigation by the U.S. Attorney General here in the central area, Los Angeles, because California can't figure out how to fix itself. California couldn't figure out how to fix itself when it came to the water issue with the wildfires or with the horrible mandates that were applied through the last virus. California always needs Big Daddy to step in and help California fix itself. So that's what's happening right now. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and that's where we're at. And I hope the federal government goes in with torches blazing and makes a massive, massive example of California. And that's coming from a Californian.
So let me leave you with this. Politicians only work for us when we pay attention, when we hold them accountable, call out their failures, and demand results. If we don't, they'll sell us out to the highest bidder every single time. And when they do, they get rich while our life, your community, our community, and your future gets burned to the ground. These people are not your friends. These people are not your heroes. They are tools. Tools that we, the people, are supposed to use to build a society that we can thrive in. But instead, they flip the script. They've got us distracted, caught up in debates about gender and sexuality, issues designed to hit you emotionally, while they quietly strip away your rights, your freedoms, and your livelihood. And here's the truth. All that noise, it's just an illusion. It's not real. And it can't and it won't last. What's real is your power when you stay alert, when you stay grounded, and keep focus where it belongs. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I am Wolf Kage, and this was Wolf Kage Los Angeles. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with somebody who needs to wake up. And until the next time, peace.